Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2017 Baggataway Cup on Studio Q. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. Second semifinal time. The first was a beauty.
Yep.
Between Guelph and Brock punching their ticket to the Champions Cup final. Now, we're about to have McGill and Western. The teams are heading to the field, and we have some player profiles for you to take a peek at some key contributors for these teams. Goose Bolton led McGill in scoring during the regular season, and he is a huge factor for them in what they do.
Yeah, he's a pure goal scorer. He really drives this offense. But McGill, I mean, it's not really one or two players. It's a bunch of different players. Emil Sasson-Lawless, Liam McDonald, Patrick Brandel, and Max Murdoch as well. Kind of all score by committee, but if you did have to pick one, Goose Bolton is the guy there with 34 goals.
Yeah, lots of guys with points are close, but when it comes to goals, you've got 34 for Bolton, and next is 16 from Alex Linton. Now, for Western, Manny Najjar is a rock in the net. Yesterday, if you watched the game, you didn't see the best in Manny Najjar because he didn't have much action. He was trying to create some action for himself. He is great. A third-year player with Western. As mentioned yesterday, he said immediately after they won last year at Brock that he wants to win multiple Baggataway Cup championships. And Keegan Crowley gets things started. He will be involved for Western, and he right away gets it going. And there's a save by William Weishi, the All-Canadian goaltender. He didn't know where it was, but it was down under his stick, and he grabbed it, and they will move the ball up the field.
Yeah, William Weishi, one of the best goaltenders in all of Canadian lacrosse at the university ranks. He's been pretty much a star since his second year when he took over as starting goalie. He's from Connecticut, one of the many Americans actually on this McGill team. He's one of the only goalies in CUFLA history to also score a goal.
Good point. That was an exciting play.
Yeah.
Got some traction with a little video of that getting up. They come back up to the top, and Alex Linton, one of the captains of this club, plays a little catch with Liam McDonald. Here comes Linton for a dodge, trying to get by, find some space. A little spin and a shot and a goal. Skipping it off the turf is Emil Sasson-Lawless. What a start for McGill. A minute and a half into this game.
Sasson-Lawless, more known as a playmaker right there, though, showing that he's a threat to score. A little bit of an awkward bounce on Manny. That goes off a body or maybe a stick and ends up in the back of the net. A miscue nonetheless for Najjar, but he's certainly going to bounce back. And regardless, it was a nice take, kind of unexpected. One thing you can expect from McGill as well is their bench is always rocking. They like to get involved, call out plays, echo. They're loud. They try to intimidate you as much as they can.
McGill with possession off the face-off. Really interesting note. He's not playing, but number 97 for McGill, Matthew Gorman, his great-great-grandfather was on the Canadian lacrosse team that won a gold medal in the Olympic Games, the only gold medal Canada's won in lacrosse in the Olympics. Of course, lacrosse not in the Olympics for a long time. Hopefully we'll go back.
Yeah,
but,
very cool. Very cool.
But that's a pretty neat note. Talking to Tim Murdoch, the head coach of McGill before the game, he loves his history of CUFLA and the game here in Canada. He is an American.
Yep.
Coming from the New England area. Way up to the top. And we'll have Hunter Zawada going for a bit of a run. Very young McGill team. 28 underclassmen, 16 freshmen, and 12 sophomores. That shot a little bit wide as Ian McLeod tried to get one on net. And a lot of guys we're not that familiar with because there's so many new players. It's scooped up by Crowley. He's going to go for a run. He's got some space. He'll pass it. Tries to get to Thomas Masterson. Great positioning by Tanner Baldwin to get in the way there. Basically just blocked it with his back. And we're going to have an offside call against McGill. Western will take possession. And Reed Reinhold was not here yesterday. He was at Toronto Rock Camp. He tried to get in. He didn't get in until after midnight last night. They were hoping he might show up for yesterday's game. They didn't really need him. But he sets up Cody Ward for the first Western goal of this game, and Reinhold is so important to this Western team.
That is an absolute fact. Reed Reinhold, such a different maker from the midfield position, a big, strong, athletic body, and right here he just finds Cody Ward, who he has found all season long. Ward, we saw him miss earlier with Weishi with that big save. You give him a couple of chances, he's usually going to score.
Jackson Rakosi lining up for the faceoff for Western. He tangles up with Julian Smith-Vidoros, but it is scooped up there by Tanner Baldwin. That pass doesn't quite connect, but zipping in was Patrick Brandel to get it. Now Brendan Mullen, he loses it. Ward couldn't come up with it. Masterson can't come up with it. It's going to be Baldwin that gets the ball, and a nice little cross-handed pass. Gets it ahead. And Cal Callahan made the play to move it down low. And now Liam McDonald is setting up. McDonald thought about coming out. Was picked up there by John Kitt. Throws a pass away. And it'll be Western possession. You know, Reed Reinhold wearing number 19, playing midfield. He's an All-Canadian. And his numbers aren't particularly overwhelming. That ball actually went under the Queen's wall over there, under the grandstands. A nice effort by Mackenzie Wilkinson, hustling after and trying to get it with a stick, and now he does. It hit a part of the bleachers, so he will start play. But, you know, Reinhold's numbers aren't overwhelming, as I said. Oh, the pass given away, but hunted down, and Western gets it back. Nice hustle there by Michael Byrne. I talked, though, to Tim Louie, the head coach of Brock, before their game, and he said, you know, Reinhold is an All-Canadian because he doesn't pile up a bunch of points. He doesn't try to pad his stats against the lower-ranked teams in the league. But when they are playing, as a nice strip by McGill, when they're playing the top teams, he is central to their offense. Crowley, a little lackadaisical as he went to pick that ball up, and we have a moving pick against Western. McGill will get the ball back. Tim Murdoch, the head coach, telling Tim Louie, the Brock head coach, he said, you know, we're pretty much what you were a couple of years ago when you were contending for a title, but you were very young. Mm-hmm. And now Brock looking for it. Interesting, the history between Brock and McGill. They've never met for a Kufla championship. You would think with Brock having won so many, McGill being so competitive, but they have met 3 times. What a pickoff by Crowley. They've met 3 times, always in the semifinals.
When talking about this McGill team, of course they are young with all those underclassmen, but they still do have a lot of impact players that have been around the league for a long time. William Weishi, a 4-year starter. Goose Bolton, Alex Linton as well, one of the captains for the team. Sasson Lawless. Those are just to name a few, but they do have some veteran leadership.
Here's a chance for Western. Ward with the shot. Weishi makes the save right in the midsection. And now there's a chance on top, and Weishi was off chasing, and Cody Ward buries that one to make it 2-1 Western. But yeah, you know, they do have a lot of veterans and some young talent in the back end that wasn't able to stop that one, though. Is Cody Ward, a veteran for Western.
And it's once again the assist coming from Reed Reinhold. That's just a good job to get his nose dirty, pick up that loose ball that Weishi can't get, and McGill's defenders got to do a better job picking up the loose balls around your goaltender. You make that first save as a goalie. If you can't get it, that's the defense job to pick up the loose ball and help out your tender.
Yeah, and we've talked about how valuable it can be to have a goaltender like Hayden Walsh in the last game, or Manny Najjar, and we see it with Weishi as well. He'll go out, he'll get ground balls, who will do more than just stopping the ball. Mm-hmm. But there are times you got to be careful about how much you do try to do, because you can get yourself in a bit of trouble. And Weishi may have tried to do a bit too much. We definitely saw Manny Najjar do that yesterday. Yeah, I really think it was because he was bored and cold when they got an 8 or 9 goal lead.
It absolutely was. That's exactly what happened. And Najjar, he likes that big play. He loves chasing the ball. He likes to make the big saves and move the ball up. So yesterday, like you said, he was bored, he was cold, he didn't know what to do. So he was just going out there when an opportunity thought that it arise, but it really didn't come to him. And we even saw that with the entire team. Western obviously came out with a pretty convincing win, but at times they did look very sloppy, passing the ball away, not connecting on opportunities. So that's the one thing that you were worried about. Maybe did they bring some bad habits over? But, I mean, early in this game, they got a 2-1 lead. Yeah. So,
and, I mean, not to take anything away from what Queens did, because they took advantage when Western made those mistakes. And at the end of the first quarter, when Chris Boucher's stick was short by half an inch, we found out today. They got the 3-minute penalty, and honestly, that was pretty much the end of the game in a lot of ways for Queens. I mean, Western took advantage, and Queens never got back into it. Western with possession, off the face-off, and they'll come up top. Rakosi is going to hand it off to Reinhold. Rakosi's heading to the bench. Western is running the play, though. They're getting some guys rolling. A little cut to the middle, but they're going to throw it back up top high. And Jackson Hulbert will just lob it over and allow Nick Ferris to keep it rolling. They just rotate, wheel the ball around. Now they're going to reverse things. Reinhold has it. Shovel pass behind the net. Masterson is going to go for a dodge against Paul Rougeau, the short stick D. Sorry, the long pole. Reinhold took a thought for a second about letting it rip. Now Ward gets it down below GLE. Ward's got the excellent Tanner Baldwin on him. But McGill not really worrying about matchups, about who exactly it is. Oh, that one bounces off Weishi. Almost knocked it into his own net, but you can see McGill, like I said, not worrying about one-on-one matchups. They're playing more of a team defense. They actually tend to play a bit of a zone at times that they really like implementing because they like the way they can communicate and work as a unit.
Well, yeah, they're a team really that prides themselves off team defense, team offense. So
great play there. Oliver Bolsterly goes for a run, gets it ahead, and they work it into the offensive zone. Bo Hosking, the All-Canadian honorable mention, the All-Canadian, gets it up. But yeah, they do. They really do play that team style.
Yeah,
Hosking has
it all depends also who they play. I mean, they're one of the best coach teams in all of CUFA with Tim Murdoch. He puts so much time and effort in creating these game plans. In the game against Bishops, they got torched by a freshman, Sam Firth. The second time they played him, they completely had a matchup that they...
Another pickoff by Keegan Crowley. Man, he is just grabbing passes in midair today. And Austin Haber comes down. They've got a chance. Ward's shot goes wide. They will gain possession. But, yeah, that's a great point. Tim Murdoch said they lost to Ottawa last year in the first round of playoffs. Didn't get to come to Baggataway. Huge upset, crushing blow for them. He told me they practiced twice a day the week before Ottawa, and they were prepared, and they crushed the Ottawa GGs. They were not leaving anything to chance. He felt like he didn't prepare them the way he should have last year, and they were not leaving anything. They're ready here. But Western has the ball. High pass up to the top. Cole Davis flicks it over, and Michael Byrne will just give it back to him. They didn't see anything they liked, so they just set things up at the top. Thanks to everyone joining us here on Studio Q's presentation of the Baggataway Cup 2017 on the CUFLA Facebook page. Please do share the links with everyone. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, will be the championship, the Brock Badgers against the winner of this game. There's Byrne dodging wide. Gets a little shove aside from Connor Plant. And you can hear people up in the stands yelling warding as Michael Byrne, a pretty active off-stick hand. No call, though. He gets it back, and he's going to shoot. Shoots it wide. Welcome to everyone in London and Montreal watching the game. Bienvenue to all of our Quebecois listeners. I'm Stephen Stamp with Pat Gregoire. You can call me Etienne Letambre if you are Quebecois. Francophone, and Patrice Gregoire.
Yeah.
There we go. Ward behind the net. Leaves it there. It's loose, though. Baldwin pulls it back. It bounces out into this crease. Almost worked out to be very dangerous, and it's grabbed by Patrick Gamble. Great D by Oliver Bolsterly. He's a freshman, I believe, is he
Yes.
not? Yeah, that's
Freshman
unbelievable.
From the Hill Academy.
From the Hill Academy, and he could have stayed. A lot of guys do stay for a post-grad year, but he came up and is playing regular heavy minutes as a true freshman here.
He was heavily recruited for a lot of Division I programs down in the States and elected to go to McGill. And
It's such a great school.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic academic school, and I mean the program that Tim Murdoch has created here with this Redmen team. I mean, it's as good as ran as any Division I program is down in the States.
Now, as we say, McGill's a great school. There's some pretty darn good schools at this tournament. I mean, Western, of course, being one of them. I mean, Trent, a great small school. Queens has some of the best programs in the world in some of their areas. I mean, these are all great schools. There's a lot of quality education here in Kufla, and the quality of the game is very good and rising.
Mm-hmm. Continues to get better.
Jackson Hulbert taking his time. The stall warning's on, so he steps inside. Pass across, skips away from Ward, and it's going to be McGill possession. They trail 2-1. We're down to the final 7 minutes of the first quarter.
Very uncharacteristic drop pass from Cody Ward. He normally grabs those with relative ease, but that one just getting away from him just a little bit.
Pass to Bolsterly on the near side. He's going to go in the middle. Connects with Plant, who gets it ahead. Tanner Balden running down, but that pass is picked off. Western has stolen passes 3 times from McGill, 2 of them by Crowley, and now by John Kitt.
Tanner Balden, a great defender as you see him on Austin Haber, but he loves to jump in the rush. 6 points on the year, and most of them actually came near the start of the year. I think within the first 3 weeks, he already had 3 points.
Ward takes the pass from Reinhold, goes back up top to him. Dekron Arshiguni jumps out on Reinhold, who passes it off to the near side. They rotate it around, and Masterson is going to get to Reinhold, who will rip it and score on his offside. Goes sidearm, Reed Reinhold. That is what he means to Western. They are very pleased that he's available today.
They could not be happier that Reed Reinhold is here. 3 points for the Toronto Rock forward. The transfer from Limestone, a perennial D2 powerhouse, but he's here playing Kufla lacrosse for his second season, and he's making his impact felt.
You can see how big and strong he is, the big body of Reed Reinhold. Kind of looks like Ryan Serville a few years ago with Guelph, who would just muscle his way in. But Serville is in attack, and Reinhold, he's got the size, but he's also really moves well. It allows him to play that midi position so effectively. Ball still down on the ground. Brendan Mullen tried to grab it with one hand, couldn't quite get it. They eventually get it back, and Peter Hunt will throw it ahead. Great catch by Crowley. Nice pass to him. And Keegan Crowley going for a run, as he is wont to do. Gets it ahead to Mackenzie Wilkinson. Wilkinson in no hurry. He's going to head off after handing it over to Byrne. Put on one of the less convincing hidden ball fakes I've seen on a Kufla field.
You know what? I have no clue how Keegan Crowley wasn't at least an honorable mention for long stick.
You were just checking, weren't you?
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, what a save by Weishi. And that shot's going to go wide, and I think McGill's going to get it. No, Western just gets a step ahead. But, yeah, I mean, he's quite a player. I mean, again, we haven't seen all of his games this year. Maybe he wasn't as impressive during the season, so we've certainly seen him here.
Charlie Dunn, I believe, was the selection for Western. So,
interesting. Maybe we see the best of Crowley, because he's certainly been very good whenever we've had a chance to see him here at the Baggataway Cup last year and this year. It's his third season with the Western Mustangs. Really took on a huge role last year. There's a shot saved by Weishi. May have got the post afterwards. Weishi couldn't come up with it. Here's another shot and another save. That's a dandy one off the stick of Byrne.
Weishi absolutely robs Byrne there. And it's not just the save, it's how he's able to pop right back up and get the ball up. But unfortunately for him, it's turned over.
You mentioned Brandon Byrne, the little brother of Michael Byrne, is on the roster for the MCGill Redmen wearing number 20. Not sure if we'll see him. He's down on the sideline.
Couple boys from St. Mike's.
Yeah, great program
in Toronto.
We've talked earlier with Mitch Ogilvie playing for Guelph. We talked about the St. Peter Saints from Peterborough, and they had some great rivalry games with St. Mike's, meeting in opposite championships and in the championship game of the Christ the King all-Catholic tournament a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, that tournament was canceled this year because the fields were in too rough shape. They weren't allowed to play. There's a rip! Cody Ward sidearm finds mesh.
Cody Ward doing Cody Ward things, ripping right from that wing, going top shelf on William Weish, and he has absolutely zero chance of making that save. That's Ward's sweet spot. Feels comfortable there. And we've seen him do it so many times, especially in this tournament. Such a big-time player.
Yeah, and I mean, he scores a lot. As we've seen already, he's not huge on creating his own stuff. Like Reed Reinhold and some of the others will create some options, and then he gets himself in position to finish. And you could see there was no hesitation. That's why he's such a successful goal scorer. He was ready to shoot, knew where he was going, and like you said, Weishi had virtually no chance. And now Ward is trying to create something for himself just to prove that he can, which he can. I mean, I shouldn't say he can't for sure, but the 41 goal scorer, a lot of them were catch and release, just ripping it home. And now a flag coming down. And Western wasn't sure who that was on as Mackenzie Wilkinson ran in and kneeled down in the penalty area, just as Jackson Riccozzi did as well. But it is Wilkinson that gets the 30-second push in the back call. So McGill, trailing 4-1, is going to want to get one back as soon as possible. A minute and a half to go here in the first quarter. And it's interesting because I've talked to a few coaches about this and whether they like not playing until the semifinal, or if they'd rather get a quarterfinal game in. Tim Murdoch was saying he definitely would rather not play the quarterfinal. He'd rather just focus and prepare for the semis. But the one thing that can be an advantage for the team that played the day before is getting a first game under your belt. You're into it. You get a feel for it. And I was saying, to me, the disadvantage if you've played the day before is if you get behind. You can't afford, because then you use so much energy to get back into the game that you can be tired in the third and fourth. We saw Guelph, how competitive they were. I don't think they ran out of gas at the end of the game because they were in the game the whole way. But if you get behind and have to climb back now, McGill should have lots of energy and a chance to climb back in, and they have a chance on the man up right here. They'll start with the ball at the top with Sassone Lawless. Behind the net, Goose Bolton. Back to Sassone Lawless. Thought about letting her rip. Linton. Bolton behind the net. That pass through was tipped, but it is picked up. Nice save, Manny Najjar, robbing Patrick Brandel. The penalty is over, and there's a call coming. Keegan Crowley, they got him in the back. You do have that 9-foot area where you can hit somebody if the ball is loose, but you got to do it from the front or the side. You can't get him in the back.
No, even if he has the ball, I can't get him in the
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Haber takes his time getting up, then hands it off. Reinhold swim move. Nice job sticking with him there. As Bo Hosking playing some tight D. Masterson behind the net with Hosking on him. Comes out, and the ball's loose. Weishi reaches out. I didn't quite see what that call was as the quarter ends. Western unable to get a chance. They will lead 4-1 going into the second period. I'm Stephen Stamp with Pat Gregoire, and that's a great first quarter for Western.
Yeah, Western looked very strong to start this up. They looked motivated, much cleaner than their game yesterday. Against Queens, obviously, it was a dominant victory, but it wasn't a clean game of lacrosse that, Jeremy Talevi would like to see. But they're playing near perfect right now, eliminating as many mistakes as possible. With that being said, though, McGill looks pretty sharp, too. They just haven't been able to capitalize on their chances. Both these teams know what it takes to win the big games, though. In 2015, McGill beat Western in the finals, and last year we saw Western win their first championship in a very long time. So the two most recent Baggataway Cup champions trying to get back into the finals.
Yeah, great point, as we have the two, like you said, the two most recent champions. And one of them will be in the finals. They'll be facing Brock, who used to win all the time.
Yeah.
Like you said yesterday, it was a bit of a surprise when Brock didn't win.
Yeah.
Back in the day. How many in a row? It was 8 in a row at one point, right?
They won from 89 all the way to 94, and then went on another stretch from 96 to 99, and then once again 2002 to 2007.
Right, so 6 in a row there and 2 runs of 4 in a row sandwiched around a Guelph championship in 1995. So Brock, a great history, and they are looking to get back and get their first Baggataway Cup since 2009.
Yeah. And Western, like I said, ended their streak of championship droughts. They hadn't won it since 2001, which seems crazy because, up until then, they always were competitive. They found themselves in Baggataway Cups, and they just couldn't get over the hump. And last year, like I said last night, probably one of the most balanced Western teams we've seen in a long time, and it's the same thing again.
And again, both teams very well coached. You mentioned Jeremy Talevi for Western, Tim Murdoch for McGill, and Murdoch really all about preparation. That's his forte. Here's Crowley. Hits the cutter backdoor. It's a little bit too far, though, for Haber, and that's going to roll out the side, and McGill will take possession.
That's the other thing with these two coaches. They surround themselves with great assistants and grad assistants that were, once players. And
the ball knocked down. Western going after it, and Waishi's going to have to head back to his crease. Plant got position so that he drew the push in the back and will get possession back, and now he'll take the pass. Some immediate pressure, but he gets it ahead. Brendan Mullen runs it into the offensive zone, hands off. Here's Maxim Murdoch. Yes, he is the son of head coach Tim Murdoch. I don't think there was much question of where he was going to wind up at university. Tim Murdoch very proud of his McGill University roots and the program that he's built.
Yeah, Max Murdoch went down to IMG Academy, which is proving to be one of the top schools down in the States for not just lacrosse, but all sports.
What a rip on the run. That's Alex Linton going mid to high, drop down, change the plane a bit. You talk about how hard it is to go high to high, but he changed the plane with this little sidearm look and gets it up over Najar's stick.
You talk about how young this McGill team is and how many impact players they have that are either freshman or sophomore. Well, senior Alex Linton makes his presence felt with a huge goal to help his team get back within 2 goals.
And you can see they went over and congratulated him and Emil Sasson-Lawless, who had such a big hand in that goal and in so many McGill goals. And it's interesting, when you see a successful team here and you see these veterans, they've been apprenticing under the previous veterans. You can see them gradually coming on. I remember Emil Sasson-Lawless, a few years ago, watching him come into games and thinking, he's a pretty good little player, but this, but that, but that's how you learn. And Murdoch and Talevi and these other coaches do a nice job of getting players and getting them playoff and Baggataway Cup experience so that they are ready when they're stepping in to be the next wave of leaders.
There's no doubt about that. It's
Cody Ward, watched by Hosking. That is quite a battle of the Titans. Ward with the spin. Hosking recovers. Go over to Reinhold, down low. Oh, what a stop by Weishi, but he can't stop Masterson. The ball bounced straight to Masterson. Bit of a lucky break, but he was very sharp at popping out from his coverage when he saw where the ball was going and grabbing it and shooting right away.
Yeah, just an unfortunate bounce for Weishi. He makes that first save. It goes off his helmet, so can't corral the ball, and it just squeaks out to Thomas Masterson. And there's no way that guy is going to miss an open chance like that.
Masterson was at 18 goals in the regular season. He's a London native, so he's at his hometown school. Boy, and I'll tell you, when you grow up, a lot of people think, I want to get away from home when I go off to university, but you can do a lot worse than going to the University of Western Ontario, Western University. Back when I was at Trent, it was University of Western Ontario. The name has changed since then. Beautiful campus, too. The old stone buildings.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Same with McGill. I mean, these may be two of the nicest campuses in the Kufla. Charleston Queens has a nice campus, a little more modern. The thing with Western and McGill, they're both such old schools. They've got those beautiful old buildings. Great trail check there by Brendan Mullen. And then, not sure about that pass by Bolsterley, but it is picked up by Connor Plant. And Bolsterley will now toss it back to Weishi. No pressure from Western for the time being, but here comes Tristan Simeone. Will force things a little. And now Ward with the ride. And now Haber jumps in. Well, I thought the ball came out. It was actually a mouth guard that popped out. Bo Hosking scoops it up. And we'll just leave it on the turf off the field. Somebody's running around without a mouth guard.
I think it might be Haber.
I think it might be. He took a pretty solid swing there. Sasson Lawless switches hands, goes down low. Bolton tried to get the shot off, but the ball had popped out of his stick. So White push in the back, so McGill will get the ball. Western wearing their whites with the purple shorts and trim, going right to left, and McGill, of course, in their reds with the white trim. Sasson Lawless changes direction. Pops out of his stick as well. Boy, McGill just having some trouble. A great ride by Sasson Lawless. And then nice effort by Bolton. And they get it back. And there's a man wide open, Maxime Murdoch. Wow, that ball was in and out in a hurry. I thought he might actually, because he had nobody but Najjar, and Najjar was kind of coming out on him, had the stick up. I thought he might grab it, throw a little fake, and tuck it in low. He just ripped it the second it hit his stick.
That ball was barely in the stick of Max Murdoch. You talk about a quick stick. That was the quickest of sticks. It was almost a one-timer as it just in and out of his stick. He wanted to make sure that Manny had no chance to jump out and try to block a shot or make a hit. Great play by Maxim Murdoch.
Yeah, Murdoch I just noticed, I think that Charlie Dunn was kind of drifting up the field a bit. So when Sasson Lawless got it, Murdoch had already headed to the net, and that's why he was so wide open. And no mistake, making like Casey Burns. Yeah, just ripping that one home.
He's such a smart player because he's been around this McGill team for so long.
Since he was a kid.
Yeah, he was their ball boy back when he was a kid, right? So he's been around this club. He's been around the team. He's been around the game of lacrosse, so he knows he's a smart player, and that was exactly what it was. It was a smart play by a smart lacrosse player.
A pretty typical coach's son, knowing what he's doing. Zawada brought the ball in. They're trying to get a shot off, and they do. Goose Bolton. Kind of a change-up, it almost looked like. He just caught it and tennis racketed that ball. It was a quick stick as well, but not quite as much on it. Still gets in, and the Redmen are creeping back into this game.
And that's the thing with this McGill Redmen team. They're a quick offense. When they really need a pad on goals, they know how to do it, but at the same time, they're very patient with their chances, and they get on runs, and they're a very streaky team that way. Whereas they'll pick up a couple goals and they'll get the momentum on their side. Their bench gets loud. But sometimes it works the other way. When goals start to pile up on the goals, their bench gets quiet. They get a little bit demoralized.
Oh, great
Nice
one-hand
scoop.
pickup by Haber. McGill players still trapped behind the red restraining line there, which we have been allowed to paint on the turf for this weekend, which is great. I mean, thanks to Queens and Richardson Stadium for letting the red lines be put on for this tournament. Again, a absolutely pristine stadium at Richardson for this event. Love it. Behind the net to Masterson. High lob pass. Hulbert goes for the drive. Ward pass on the far side, back door, and Nick Ferris taps it home. That's just some great passing. And McGill half a step late on every one of those passes.
Yeah, the rotation there was just a little too late, and it actually looked like Hosking was the one who made the slide there. It just, once again, McGill, their defense caught ball watching, 3 defenders with their back turned to Ferris, who's wide open on the crease. And we talked about how Cody Ward, he's such a good playmaker. Maybe not as he's a shifty player. Sometimes he's that spot-up shooter, but he's got great feeding ability as well.
Yeah, 41 goals, 20 assists for Cody Ward. Those 20 assists get paled a bit by the 41 goals.
Exactly.
And that's still a good number of assists
Yeah.
for a Kufla player.
Especially, I mean, when you do consider in the field lacrosse game, there is only the 1 assist.
Yeah. Crowley's pass gets over to Wilkinson and lets it rip. It heads out, and Masterson will restart play. Being watched there by Baldwin.
One thing different with this Western team this year, their defensive midfielders are, I don't know if they maybe have the green light this year, and Jeremy Talib, he has a little more trust in them, but they do take more chances. We've seen Mike Byrne actually play a lot of offense on the midfield, and Austin Haber with 2 goals yesterday. Mm-hmm. And then we see a shot there from, I believe it was, Mackenzie Wilkinson.
Mackenzie Wilkinson, yes. And then, as you're saying that, Cole Davis takes a shot, and he's heading back to play defense. That one was handled easily by Weishi. And then the long pass, and Manny Najjar is out at the 30-yard line, and the goal is on the 15. So he was way out of his net. It worked as he picks it off like a free safety, reading the pattern of the wide receiver. Here's Simeone. He's going to be turned back aside by the combo of Bolsterly and Baldwin. Oh, and there's just a high-to-high Cole Davis. He fooled Weishi, had Weishi dropping down on it, and the ball just drifted up into the top corner.
Yeah, I think that's a save that Weishi's going to want back. High-to-high. He steps to it and just misses the ball completely. Weishi, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, one of the best goalies in all of Canadian University lacrosse, and usually you'll expect your elite goaltender to make a save like that there.
So 7-4, Western goes ahead.
Western's goal scored by number 22, Cole Davis. Assisted by number 2, Thomas Masterson.
And Masterson, a nice look to see Davis wide open up top as Masterson had the ball behind the net. We're going to have a re-face-off here. 8.5 to go in the first half. I'm Steven Stamper with Pat Gregoire. It's because I called you Patrice earlier.
Am I in trouble?
That's right. Patrick Joseph Gregoire. Patty Gregoire and Steven Stamp here.
There we go. That's
more like it. Bringing you Baggataway Cup 2017 action. And the ball just popped out of the stick of John Kipp, but he hustles back to get it. And Jeremy Talevi takes a timeout. 8 minutes exactly to go here. And, Western up by 3. McGill's not going away, but every time they do something, Western has had a response.
Yeah, that's the one thing with McGill. We mentioned how they do go on their runs, and I'm sure Western knows that, and they know that McGill's not going to go away, so they do have to reply whenever McGill seems like they're going to get back into this game. Western right now, I mean, they look like they're rolling. They're getting production from other players. Cole Davis really, really coming into his own this weekend. And, of course, obviously, their big guns still getting involved. Reed Reinhold has been such a boost to this team coming here today. They definitely could have used him yesterday to maybe help out with some of the tired legs for the midfielders. They still got it done, but nonetheless, he's making his presence felt today.
Yeah, and it goes back, as we said earlier, to Reinhold being an All-Canadian, not because of his numbers, because he doesn't, like we said, he doesn't really push it and try and pile up stats against the lower-ranked teams. He'll play a solid game, but he is at his best when Western is playing their most difficult competition. So it's no surprise he's stepping up today.
He's kind of one of those players, too, that I feel like he rises to his level, and he plays to the level that he's playing against. Kind of, accepts the challenge. I mean, even you see him jump into a role maybe where not too many people expected him in the NLL, and he jumped to the occasion there and looked pretty good at the National Lacrosse League level as well.
I was going to say, remember last year, Toronto was playing in Georgia, and if I'm not mistaken, he scored a goal, and it was only his third or fourth game in the NLL. He scored a goal to force overtime and then scored the overtime winner, did he not? I mean, that's rising to the level as a young rookie in the NLL. Again, they've got Stephen LeBlanc and Adam Jones are the Rock's top two lefties. He is battling for a spot with Kieran McCardle and some other players, but boy, he brings such a gritty and clutch presence.
Yeah, he certainly does.
He's got it up top, watched by Hosking. Hulbert gets it back from Masterson. Long pass up to Reinhold. We'll see what Western's got going. They're starting to run the play that they talked about in the huddle. Great closing defense there by McGill. Nice job by Brendan Mullen to jump in and help Hosking. Reinhold. Washed up top by Mullen. Ferris immediately hands it off behind the net. And Tristan Simeone with Bo Hosking down there. So we saw Hosking up at the 40 playing D. Now we see him back at the 10. He is all over the field. And that pass is going to go back over center. Oh, and Western wants a call, and they're going to get it as Max Murdoch just kind of hooked on to the Western defender, Dallas Clancy, and pulled him to the turf. That'll be Western possession. It's a nice play if it works out, if you get away with it, but I didn't think there was much question that Murdoch, and you know what, as an attack player there, you don't have as long a stick, you're not going to get to the ball first. Clancy was going to be able to play it, so you try something, didn't work out, didn't really cost him anything because Western would have maintained possession, so nice try, Maxim Murdoch. His sister, Lillianne Murdoch, is celebrating her birthday today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Tim's daughter, Lillianne. So happy birthday to Lillianne Murdoch. She wasn't able to be here today. Oh, behind the back shot by Ferris. Almost a gorgeous goal. And I was hoping she could be here and sing the national anthem. She is a beautiful singer. We're going to hear big things from that young lady in the future.
Awesome.
Tremendous young lady, and Tim's wife, Pascal. I sat for breakfast with them a couple years ago up at Lennoxville when the tournament was up at Bishop's, and just a terrific family. There's a pass up top. Reinhold. Oh, nice attempt on the bounce shot, but it's a little bit wide of Weishi's net. Ferris will start with it again behind the net. Hosking back there on him.
Watch McGill kind of drops into his zone coverage when they have a short stick on short stick matchup behind the net.
Masterson hustles out to get the ball after it bounced away from the pass to Reinhold. There's a drive to the net and a goal, and Weishi looks a little surprised at how that one snuck through. Jackson Hulbert gets involved in the scoring, sneaking it past the body of Weishi.
Yeah, Hulbert just dodges, beats his man, stays down the alley, and Weishi handcuffed on this one once again. He was very deep in his net, too, which is very uncharacteristic of him. He likes going out, challenging the play. I don't know what it is with him right now. He just doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look like the confident Weishi we've seen in years past.
Good point. And he was right on his post. Actually, as he adjusted, swung the stick down, his hip actually came outside the post, which is why there was some room on that far side. And Hulbert was able to take advantage. That's not an easy shot where Weishi was. Oh, nice strip on the trail check, as I thought we were going to get a long pole goal by Brendan Mullen. And then all kinds of pressure on the ride. And Crowley doesn't get an easy release here either. That's just pressure from Goose Bolton. But they do get some space now. Crowley with a hand, toss it over to Najjar. He gets the one hand quiet goalie cradle going and then whips it ahead and Dallas Clancy will give it to Ward. It's stripped from him. Nice work there by Baldwin. The ball's still loose. Ward kicks it ahead to himself and gets it back. 2 on him. Did they get a timeout? They did. Western got the timeout just before it popped out. There was a little controversy in the game earlier when Brock thought they had called a timeout that they should have gotten. We actually discussed it with the refs, and it was interesting because we were wondering why Brock was so upset that they didn't get it, because we saw the ball pop loose and that they didn't have possession when they tried to call the timeout. And the ref pointed out that he was watching, and another ref said, yeah, I was watching. He saw that they had the ball, turned to call the timeout, and as he turned and put his hands together in the T shape, the ball popped out of the stick.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely the correct call. This one, though, was perfect as Western just barely had it. It popped out after the call, but they got it in time.
Yeah, I know you've mentioned, I've mentioned as well. I am actually very, very impressed with the officiating this weekend. They've done a fantastic job, and it's field lacrosse. I mean, box lacrosse, it's a tough game to call. Field lacrosse is even more difficult to call, in my opinion. It's such a tough game. There's so many different integral rules, and I think the guys have done a really fantastic job this weekend calling a very fair couple games.
Yeah, no, they've done a great job. You're wrong about the box versus field thing. No, I don't know. To me, box, because there's so many people in such a tight space and it's happening so fast, I think that adds a level of challenge. But you're right, there are so many rules here. To me, the big challenge, and I talked to Ian Garrison, the RIC, and said, I don't know how you guys keep this straight, because you go to field, you go to NLL, you go to international box, you go to Canadian summer box, you're doing FIL field, you're doing Kufla field, which are about the same, but, there are little nuances of rule differences between them.
Absolutely.
And I mess them up sometimes, and I mean, I watch all these, I read the rule books.
Yeah.
And still, it can be very challenging to keep straight what's what. So kudos to the refs for a great job this weekend. Cody Ward way over on the far side. You don't see him over there much. He's watched by Paul Rougeau. Rougeau stalking him like a cat, following a mouse. Ward comes over to his own side. Long pass, the little skipper to Reed Reinhold. He's watched there by Mullen. And that shot well wide of the net. Boy, Reed Reinhold's a good shooter, but that was way off. I think Rougeau must have got, or Mullen must have got part of his stick.
It was the trail check there that he just got a piece on it
just
there.
Just tapped it as he was shooting?
Yeah. Mullen actually having quite a nice game here today.
Yeah, he really is. Been very involved. Western working around the outside. Another St. Mike's College kid, Brendan Mullen. Third season. That shot goes wide. Western quickly moving around. We're down to the final couple of minutes here in the first half. And there's the shot. Taking the pass and quick release, Tristan Simeone. What a finish. 9-4. Western kind of having their way with McGill a little bit in the first half.
Yeah, it's just controlled chaos in the middle of the field right now with all the attackers and the midfielders running that wheel offense, the motion offense, and McGill having a very hard time tracking the players. And Tristan Simeone, who had a great game yesterday, continuing to have another good game here this afternoon, scoring there. Simeone, a player for the Newmarket Saints Junior B team, played both sides of the ball, could play transition, could play offense, and he's a very nice little player, but I think his game excels even more at the field lacrosse level.
And a beautiful pass by Thomas Masterson again. Sorry, Pat Masterson. No, Thomas Masterson. That's right the first time, not his brother. Reinhold with it again. 5-goal lead for Western. Wasn't sure coming in who the favorite in this was. McGill first in the East Division, only one loss early in the season to Bishops. They turned things around late in the year. Western, though, you talked about how Tim Murdoch likes to game plan and prepare. Jeremy Talevi also very good at having his players in positions to succeed. So far, it's working out better for Western in this game. These last 40 seconds will be important. McGill does not want to go down another goal. Huge swinging wrap check there by Plant, but they get it out in the high rip, high to high by Cole Davis. He's had 2 goals, very similar. Just letting it go with everything he's got on it.
Cole Davis, 14 goals on the season, but it seems like he is rising to the challenge. Had a couple goals yesterday, a couple goals here today, and I mean, it just seems like we're watching a replay every time he steps up and just loads, blasts a shot. A lot of guys like to change the play and go high to low, low to high, bounce shots, but nope. He likes to go high to high, and he sticks it.
Running time, so we're not even going to get a face-off here. The first half will expire. It's 10-4 for the Western Mustangs over the MCGill Redmen. The Redmen will regroup, see what they can figure out for the second half. Western will try to just keep it rolling. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. This is Studio Q presentation of the 2017 Baggataway Cup. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2017 Baggataway Cup on Studio Q here in Kingston, Ontario. It's semifinal action, and it's kind of stunning. The Western Mustangs 10-4 over the MCGill Redmen. McGill just not playing their game, and we were wondering, as we saw in the halftime, David Pelliccioni was being warmed up between the pipes for McGill, and he is coming in, and the Seagulls are swirling around, sensing perhaps the desperation of the McGill Redmen at this point.
Yeah, no doubt. McGill definitely needing to make some adjustments. Just at some points in that second quarter, it just looked like Western was having their way with them offensively, just shooting at will, picking corners. William Weish, a couple of those goals weren't his fault, but in a championship game, I mean, you're an all-Canadian. You have to make a save. Sometimes steal one that you shouldn't. But the ones that you should make, you got to make those saves. You have to, especially when you're, one of the heart and souls of this team.
Reed Reinhold throws it up top, and there's Nick Ferris going to try and generate with Bo Hosking watching him. No rush for the Western Mustangs. Now, a Jeremy Talevy coach team, and with these players, they're not going to just go into a shell for the next 30 minutes, but they're going to keep playing. But that's a great strip by Baldwin, and then just wrist shots it ahead to Connor Plant. Plant going for a run. He's corkscrew checked by Ferris. Great ride on the back check by Ferris. The ball pops out off of Plant, and it's Western possession. Boy.
That's deflating.
That's the game in a microcosm right there.
Yeah.
And, we talk about, through the course of a game, like halftime and on, we start talking about, who are potential players of the game. And we don't really have anyone for McGill just because the whole team has just looked kind of flat. Maybe one of the defenders, maybe Baldwin, maybe Bolsterly. I'd say maybe Baldwin. Maybe Bo Hosking. You mean Baldwin?
Brandon Mullen, I think, is an option as well, too.
Yes, I like that. But again, you've given up 10 goals.
Yeah.
Like somebody was pointing out Western could get 20 on McGill. I don't think it'll happen. I think McGill is just too good, too proud. I think they're going to turn things around to an extent. But, boy, a 6-goal lead is an awful lot to make up. And lacrosse, you talked about being a game of runs, and it is. But one of the differences, if you're more of a box person and you're checking this out, first of all, good for you because this is some great lacrosse, and it's fun. But there's a shot on the run. That one goes wide as Alex Linton couldn't find the range. It's a little harder because you can hold on to the ball. There's no shot clock. You don't have to shoot at any given time. There's a stall, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. There's Ferris stripping the ball. He's having himself a game. Oh, and he chops down on Emil Sasson-Lawless. And Tim Murdoch seemed to think that was out, but then he pulled his hand back in.
Pretty quickly. I think he realized, all right, maybe that didn't go out. But that one does.
That one does, and it's going to head under the bleachers unless they get there. Oh, it stops just before it gets off the turf. Because once it hits the hard, whatever the hard court area is over there, it rolls pretty quick. Long pass ahead. Oh, and a huge hit by Hosking. Absolutely flattening Patrick Gamble. I was pretty impressed that Dallas Clancy saw. I thought when I first saw him, like, that's a crazy pass way up the field. But no, he was wide open. Gamble had nobody around him, so it was a good pass. But then the close by Hosking. Now McGill gets it back. They're showing a little more passion, a little more jump, and a little more drive. Kieran McKay out there. He's got the ball. He didn't play in the first half, but we're seeing him now, and he's going to try and spark something.
Yeah, McGill has a lot of depth in their roster, so look to see some of these younger guys get in the game, try to do something, because obviously there's some veteran players on this team that aren't getting the job done right now.
Ian McLeod has it up top. Thought about throwing it to Hunter Zawada, who takes the pass now from McKay. That one gets loose. It's going to be a push in the back. You can see Byrne looking up, not happy with the call, but no question. The ball was loose. And again, it doesn't matter whether the ball's loose or in his stick. You can't just push a guy in the numbers and shove him over to the turf. Thanks, everyone, for being with us. Welcome. Oh, here's a great chance. Just a little bit wide by Bolton. And now just gets out, and they had to race for that sideline normally because it's going behind the net at a different angle. it's over pretty quick, but that was an extended race, and Maxim Murdoch just held on ahead of Dallas Clancy. It has been interesting watching Maxim Murdoch mature. As you said, a ball boy for the team, coached by his father, and now he's a second-year player, and, I mean, tremendous young athlete with some serious lacrosse hair. McKay swings back out around. Troy McLeod. Now goes up to McKay. So 16 is McLeod, 18 is McKay. That was a dangerous run. Reed Reinhold almost had it, but now they've got numbers if they can take advantage. Toe drag. The ball pops out. I think we do have a flag on the play. It's going to be against Western.
And I think that's just a case of Reed Reinhold out for a long shift. He was out there for a full offensive possession and then had to get back. You got caught. When you're tired, you make mistakes, mental mistakes. I think he just got a little bit too high on that hit there.
McGill runs the three youngsters, McKay, McLeod, and Zawada, off the field to get their man-up unit out. Going with some more veterans. And we'll see if it works for them. Saved by Najar. And he saw that one all the way. Liam McDonald with the rip. It's a 1-minute penalty on Reinhold, so Western's got some time to kill. Gunn throws it back to Crowley. Pressure from Bolton. He just sidesteps it. Najar's up at the 35-yard, 40-yard line. So Crowley needs to hang on to that ball. He's zigzagging about. Lobs it over just before he takes the check. Gets it across to Peter Hunt. I tell you, Keegan Crowley, he's a very good player. He's a very exciting player.
Yes.
Life is never boring when Keegan Crowley. Now flags all over the place. They're going to take a 1-minute personal each, and that was Crowley threw the pass across. Took the check from Bolton as he released it, and Crowley's still complaining.
Yeah, both of them are actually kind of lipping there for quite some time.
It's not something we're used to seeing, actually, in field lacrosse. You really don't get away with talking back to the officials much. Clock was stopped for a bit while the officials sorted that out. But now Reinhold will be released. And Western's back to full and even strength. Haber going for a trot. Fakes the pass and now gives it to Ward. Western taking their time. The wide wheel play as they just circle it around the outside of this formation. We're 7 minutes into the third quarter. No scoring so far here in the second half, and that obviously favors the Western team that's winning 10-4. High pass, but it is snagged. Cole Davis, who's got a couple of goals, is going to take his time up top. Watched there by Matt Karastecki, trying to put some pressure on. Hosking releases back into the defensive zone as McGill gets there. A couple of changes completed. And it's a conundrum for the McGill team when you're down by a half dozen and the other team is taking their time. They're not in the stall because they're staying down low, passing the ball around. Davis picks that up. It's knocked loose. Oh, nice play to kick it ahead. We're going to say a loose ball push on Western as Davis tried to get his man back. But I was going to say, when do you go out and pressure more and make yourself susceptible to backdoor cuts and all that open space? Like, just think about Cody Ward having extra room to work with. That's scary.
That's a very scary thought, but it's something you have to think about because you got to get that ball back. Time's slowly ticking away.
Bolsterly a pass ahead to Hosking. He's going to hand it off there to Plant. And now they get it to Sasan Lawless, and the offense will set up. They're still making some changes as Hosking is heading. A pair of McGill Redmen heading off the field. McDonald and Linton will come on. And you have to be patient. You have to run your plays. You have to keep doing what you do. But you have to have a bit of a sense of urgency. There's Linton. Urgency without desperation, I think is the way to put it. McDonald behind the net. Murdoch had to go down and get it. Sasan Lawless sidesteps and rips it. That's just a great little piece of footwork by Emile Sasson-Lawless to sell the move he was making at first.
It's great ball movement. It starts with the initial dodge from the alley that then goes back to Max Murdoch. Murdoch with a great find, and Sasson-Lawless just gives it a little bit of a stutter step there and puts that home. And if you saw the full field, you could see Murdoch puts his hands up before Lawless even shoots the ball. He knew that one was going in the net.
Yeah. I gotta say, I just saw a post by Jamie Henderson on the Facebook page alongside the feed where everyone's watching. Jamie Henderson said, "Goose again. Does that make geese?" When Bolton got his second goal. That is well played, sir. 10-5. McGill not giving up, and you can see a lot more jump here in the second half. Sasson-Lawless again over to McDonald. Bolton is set up behind the net. Nobody back there with him, but a bounce shot. McDonald finds Twine. 2 straight goals for McGill. They're within 3.
And here's the run that McGill goes on. We've talked about it before. They're a team that plays streaky both ways. They're on the run now, so we can see, or we'll have to wait and see, can Western reply? Can they stop the bleeding here, or will McGill continue to start to close this gap?
Tim Murdoch down on the bench. You can see him reminding these guys to drink water because even though it's cold, you are sweating, you are losing fluids. Rakosi comes up with the ball, but he's over there telling his bench players, we're going to keep it rolling, we're going to keep subbing, we're going to keep everyone fresh and keep moving. They want guys hustling off the field and onto the field. Western has possession. There's a save. Oh, no, it gets through somehow. Pelliccioni, I don't even know how that ball got in. Look how his head is straight for him. And Austin Haber wants to contribute on offense. He's doing so.
3 goals in 2 games for Austin Haber. Haber just rips this one by and beats him clean. Haber, like I said, probably one of the best defensive middies in all of Kufla lacrosse. Didn't get an all-Canadian mention or an honorable mention. But he's pumped up, and he's contributed offensively. 3 goals in 2 games for him. Only 2 goals on the entire season.
He's also looking at getting an invitation as the first Canadian University Field Lacrosse Association player to go on Dancing with the Stars. Some nice moves. Got the hip into it, a little Elvis action. Timeout called by McGill as they were about to lose the ball. Western's unhappy. Rakosi thought he'd knocked it free, but they called timeout just in time to keep possession. That makes it 11-6. Or my mistake, I was thinking it had gone to 10-7, but it was actually 10-6. So now, with the goal by Haber, it's 11-6. But McGill, again, on a bit of a run.
Mullen picking up that loose ball there. Good recognition. Tried to stay inbounds as long as he could. He was looking back at his bench, basically wondering, okay, timeout. Then they call timeout. Then he gets pushed out of bounds. So good on him.
Yep.
Trying to make sure that his team calls that timeout.
Eric Petrie watching the game today. Shout out to him. One of my favorite players to watch play the game of lacrosse over the last several years. Great defensive player. A one-time CLAX Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Smart, tough, plays with an edge. Shout out to Eric. Great to have you watching. I always did. And I know he was taken in the Arena Lacrosse League draft. And hey, Eric, if you're thinking about it, it'd be cool to see you back on the floor.
Yeah, no doubt. Watching his former team, the Western Mustangs, a great Kufla player. I played alongside him with the Toronto Beaches U19 team for many years. So Eric's a good buddy of mine, and I mean,
great leader.
He was a treat to play alongside with. Made my job a lot easier because he'd always shut down the top.
Bit of
players.
a loose cannon.
Yeah, you could say that
a little bit. He's fun. Oh, what a play. Sasson-Lawless to Murdoch, who switches hands, takes it lefty, and taps it home. That is a perfect response because you talked about McGill, a team of streaks. They got a bit of a run going. Then Haber responds, so nothing better for McGill than to score quickly.
Mad Max Murdoch having himself an afternoon. 2 goals and an assist. We talked about how the offense really wasn't getting much done, but Murdoch really showing a spark here in the second half for this Redmen team.
And Goose Bolton just gave it a cheer as he dropped his hands to his side. It sounded like a Canada Goose letting a squawk rip. Nice hustle in there to grab that ball by Haber on the faceoff, and he'll roll it ahead to Rakosi. Keegan Crowley came up. He was going to join in. Now he'll head off to the sidelines.
We'll see once again if Western can answer. As we've seen every time McGill's thrown a big punch, Western has counterpunched with another goal.
And again, Western taking their time. Smart lacrosse. But, as we've talked about, you've got to find the balance of you don't want to stop playing your game and take the foot off the gas too much and lose what you were doing. Because if they do happen to come back, and as much as I said it's hard to come back from a 6-goal deficit, the one thing is you win that faceoff, you've got the ball, and you can hang on to it and get everybody out there. Coming from the X. Burns going to chuck it over to Ward. He's got Baldwin with the active stick almost knocking that pass down. Here's Byrne again. He makes a pass through. It's picked off. And McGill is sprinting the other way. That's Baldwin. Talk about the active stick. And he makes it pay there. Chance for McGill. And there you can hear the echoing you were talking about with McGill as they said slow it down once they saw they didn't have numbers, and the entire bench yelling what the coaches are yelling to make sure it can be heard out there. I was down on the sideline for Albany versus the Iroquois Nationals in Syracuse a few weeks ago at the Carrier-Dome, and boy, Albany loves to echo.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
It helps out. Sometimes you can't hear the coach call it, so the bench players are doing their best job to try to make an impact in the game, helping out their teammates by echoing those calls.
Oh, falling to the ground, and it pops out of the stick of Brandel. Sassone Lawless, great pressure, shoves Haber out, but Haber wisely puts it down, but that gives them a chance. Now Haber comes back and strips him on the trail check. Huge hit, blowing up Reed Reinhold, but Western does come up with it. Peter Hunt to Najjar. There's the man Moriyama wide open. And he'll make the short pass to Reinhold. Nice clear by the Mustangs. Such a smart play by Haber to put the ball down knowing he was getting shoved out and couldn't keep his balance in. But then to hustle back as Sasan Lawless got it and make the trail check. That's just great effort play by a guy who wants to play both ends of the field. And he's certainly shown in the last 10 minutes he can do it.
He's one of those guys that you wish you had a full roster of him on your team. Just hard worker, hard-nosed, smart, and just wants to get better.
Yeah, I'd take 9 of him running around the field.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple Cody Wards and Reed Reinholds
Yeah,
to
that'd be all right.
flesh things out. And the odd Max Murdoch and Emil Sasan Lawless. Tanner Baldwin. There's a lot of talent in this tournament. And it is 3-1 here in the second half as we're getting to the final 4 minutes of the third quarter. So in this 16 minutes, McGill is winning here in this quarter, but of course trailing 11-7 overall. I'm Stephen Stamp with Pat Gregoire. Do we see a goal? No, we do not. There's a save by Peccioni. And I'm trying to think how many shots, Pelliccioni, David Pelliccioni has actually faced. I don't think it's a lot. I think that McGill defense has really stepped up and limited the chances for Western. Bolsterly, nice pass to spot the man ahead. Oh, and then a bit of a panic pass, but it's grabbed by Bolsterly. He's going to have another chance. Karasterici came up. Oh, and there's wide open up top. Great hustle by Hunt to get on to Brandel and take away his chance, because if he'd been able to turn, he had nothing but net to shoot at.
Right before Murdoch made that pass, you could hear the bench screaming, yellow, 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 which means slow it down so you can get your other offensive players out on the field. But sometimes when you're an offensive player, you see a window, you pass it, and then you then realize, oh, no, that window is shut.
Yeah. Maxim Murdoch is back behind the net, waiting for a pass and gets it. He's going to go way over into the corner to set himself up for a run at a dodge, but Dallas Clancy went with him. They obviously don't want him having too much room. McLeod gets it down to Zawada. And again, we're seeing a lot of different McGill players. And Tim Murdoch did tell me before the game, he said, we're just going to keep rolling. We'll roll ourselves. We've got a lot of young guys. And we've got a lot of fresh legs, a lot of good players. And a delay by Max Murdoch. Interesting, before, when we thought he might have made a move with the stick after he caught it, he just quick stick like crazy. And on this one, he's so patient and waits for Najjar to almost take himself out of position.
So 2 quick stick goals from Murdoch, and then you see another one just waits. And before that play as well, he cuts through the middle, backdoor cuts Nick Ferris and waits, and then catches it and shoots. Unbelievable play, a very smart play. We are truly seeing Murdoch and his lacrosse IQ come out here today.
Yeah, no question.
Assisted by number 93, Hunter Zawadi.
So McGill continuing to fight their way back in. A 4-1 edge here in the third quarter. They're within 3 goals. Play is blown back in, and Baldwin immediately throws it over.
And sorry, the backdoor cut I meant on Keegan Crowley.
There you go. Patty, what were you thinking?
I was just so impressed with the play.
Yeah, it was a great play.
So smart.
Yeah.
And you know,
and so natural.
Yeah.
You can see he's not thinking about that. He just senses where he needs to go and what he needs to do. Tremendous young player.
and Manny Najjar is a smart goalie too, so he probably was expecting the quick stick because he saw, okay, Murdoch has quick sticked it twice on me now, and he kind of anticipated that, and it kind of surprised him and the entire Western team. Oh,
McDonald behind the back doesn't connect. Bolton has to get there because that's a pass, not a shot. He does so. He'll throw it back to McDonald.
so much more energy and life in this McGill team now.
Nice moves by Sasan Lawless. The shot way off. I didn't see any stick-to-stick contact, but I think Haber may have gotten his stick on his hands and just thrown that shot off because it was 15 feet up above the net.
Yeah.
5 meters for you kids who don't know the Imperial system. We've got yards out here on the field, though, so I felt like going Imperial was the way to do it. McLeod. That pass doesn't connect. McGill gets it back. We got 8 seconds in the quarter. 6. They get it. Son Lawless spins, shoots a little wide. It's grabbed by Murdoch. Oh, it actually gets away from him. The quarter will end. That's a good quarter for McGill. You can see how fired up they are. And you know the talk at halftime was, hey, let's go ahead and win this quarter and put ourselves in position to compete in the fourth.
Yeah, there's no 2-point goal here in Kufla lacrosse. You're not gonna, knock them out with a knockout punch. You got to chip away. And that's what McGill's done. They got it now to 11-8, and they have 20 minutes. There is still so much lacrosse left in this ball game. And Western, probably on the same side, is saying, "Look, relax, guys. We've got a lead. We know how to play with the lead. Let's get a couple possessions here, pot a few in, and we're sitting okay."
It's the 2017 Baggataway Cup here on Studio Q. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. Thanks to everyone in the Studio Q crew. And got to give a shout out to the Queens women's lacrosse team who are helping out, volunteering all weekend. And they went and got me a lemon honey tea to help with my throat because my throat is a little sore. And they've been terrific. And they have their alumni game after the game. And we should stick around.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to stay and watch a bit of it. We got to go do some work on other things. But I'm going to stay and watch a bit because they've been so great giving their time to help us out and help everybody out. And, just want to really give them some props because, they've done a great job on a cold weekend where, they didn't have to be here.
No.
Well, maybe they were told they had to be here. But you know what? They've been doing it all with the smiles on their faces. And now in between quarters, they're down with their sticks, tossing the ball around and throwing it on the field just at the last second. Great job by McGill in that quarter to not panic, to go ahead, make the changes they felt they had to make, really start rolling people through, get some different looks. And pretty impressive. And now Western is going to have to see what they can do. Because I'll tell you, another 4-1 period, and we'd have a tie game and some overtime at 12-12.
Mm-hmm.
$20 minutes, and we will be deciding, most likely, unless we go to overtime, who will face Brock Badgers in the Baggataway Cup Championship. A long, hotly contested face-off. And Western's Keegan Crowley comes up with it eventually. That ball's down on the ground again. Balled in great body position. Oh, and taps it by Rakosi. What a play by Tanner Baldwin. That's why the youngster is such a future threat and current threat for McGill. Ball pops loose, so it's Thomas Masterson coming up with it. Possession so important. Probably even more so for Western. They need to get something rolling. That one goal was really just Austin Haber creating on his own. They've got to get back to their offense.
Yeah.
We talked about it. It's the balance, and they've lost that balance a little bit.
No doubt in Western, they really predicate themselves off a team that moves off ball well and swings the ball east-west. We haven't seen that really at all.
Reinhold goes all the way to the net, reverses the stick, tries to flick a backhand whip shot, but it goes wide as he was being run to the ground by Bo Hosking, and it's a crease call as Reinhold landed inside the red circle. Long pass to Tanner Baldwin. He gets away from him. That is the danger with that long cross-field pass, and it doesn't quite work out as Mullen.
I wonder if maybe the lights and the sun's starting to go down, so you got the clouds that are white and
the sun just came out as you said that, though. Did you notice the change in the light?
I know.
And I know our crew Samir and Caitlin have been having to deal with the light because it keeps changing.
Yeah.
The clouds come in, a bit of sun there, the first we've really seen today. All of a sudden, as you were saying that, it got brighter. That was uncanny.
You guys are welcome.
Yeah. It's warmed up, too. It's up to 6 degrees.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. For our friends down south of the border, that is, like 45, 43, something like that? In the low 40s? I don't know. Oh, shot off the post on the run by Cole Davis. He's just letting it rip with everything he's got, and he almost got a third one. Oh.
That's on the back.
Bolsterly just ran over. Nope, no call, but McGill gets the ball back. Bolsterly will lob it across. Brandell wants to slow things down a little bit, and McGill will set up. They trail 11-8, but they've got lots of momentum after a 4-1 third quarter. No scoring so far in the first 2 minutes and 45 seconds here in the fourth. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. It's Baggataway Cup action. Boy, it looks pretty with the sun on the facade of the far side of the stadium. Sasan Lawless changes direction. Thought about going to net, but Moriyama was there. So he's going to come out top to Cal Callahan. I had to look up Cal Callahan's name because we haven't seen him yet.
I got to say, some of these McGill players have awesome names.
Yeah, that's a good name. Oh, there's a shot blocked by a defender. Then pulling it into himself was John Kitt. He's having himself a solid tournament.
Yeah,
Doesn't do a lot of things to kind of jump out at you, but boy, he makes the smart plays and the simple plays.
Yeah. He keeps it simple, and that works for that style of defender. If you're not a takeaway defender or, a Kevin Crowley on LSM where you like to move the ball up and pick up loose balls, if you're just a stay-at-home defender, you got to keep it simple, and that's what he does, and he's been great all season long, and I think he's been really strong in this tournament.
Yeah, and really showing the footwork and how important that can be.
Oh, yeah.
Both in terms of positioning, but also kicking the ball to yourself, kicking the ball to your teammates, getting it just up to your stick. If you get position, block somebody out, then tap it ahead to your stick, you can pick it up, whereas you might not be able to if you just try and scoop down right away.
Oh, yeah.
Reinhold watched by Hosking. Hosking is everywhere for this McGill team.
Another awesome name, Bo Hosking. There's got to be an all name team in
Let's
Kufla.
do it.
I think
we're going to do it for Inside Lacrosse. We'll collaborate afterwards. So everyone look on InsideLacrosse.com. In the next couple days, we're going to have an all Kufla name team, or a Kufla all name team. Nice pick off there by Karis DeRicci. Makes the pass to Pelliccioni, who mishandles it. Then it pops loose, gets away from Jackson Hulbert. Another big scrum. Of course, Bo Hosking is there. Oh, but it's Thomas Masterson who comes out and just protects the ball away from Pelliccioni and tucks it home. That's a pretty good name, too, actually, Pelliccioni.
It is. Masterson picking up that loose ball and manages just to squeak around all the McGill defenders who were still down trying to pick up that loose ball. And great ball protection, exactly like you said. He puts that one home. That's a big goal for Western. Another unsettled situation for Western. We still haven't seen them score a goal off their set offense, though.
That's true. And, composure by Thomas Masterson
Yes.
because everyone's around fighting the ball for the ball. You pop out, all of a sudden it's just you and the goalie. He's running at you. To just be calm and say, okay, I'm going to let him take another step or two because there's no time to wind up and take a shot because Pelliccioni was trying to take that away. So to hustle, to just wait and just drop it in is very smart. And there is a penalty coming to Western now, so McGill is going to get a chance to respond.
Crowley threw a nice tomahawk chop right to the top of the head.
Baldwin still up there with the ball. Haber on him. They're isolating for the long pole. Who's going to rip it and score? Tanner Bolden. That was a thing of beauty.
You have got to be kidding me. Tanner Bolden. I know he's one of the better offensive long poles in this league, but to dangle Austin Haber, go on the run, dodge down the alley, and then stick it high to high, unbelievable. Wow.
I'm not sure if you could hear the incredulity in my voice when I said they're isolating for Tanner Bolden. And he makes it clear why. 2 goals in the regular season. That is gorgeous. It's a 3-goal game again, 12-9. And boy, McGill's got a bunch of momentum.
Earlier on in the season, I spoke with Tim Murdoch, and he said, Tanner Bolden, you got to watch him all season long. Not just a great shutdown guy, not a great defender, but puts up points. And he said, you know what, Pat, I truly think that Bolden's going to beat the record for most points by a defender by the time he's done here.
He's from Brantford, Ontario. Went to Trinity Pauling School. A lot of people heading to Trinity Pauling for finishing these days.
Yeah, it's a great prep school down there.
It's in Pennsylvania, is it? Or Ohio?
Not too sure.
I don't know. You can look that up. But he's a freshman on this team, and he is already a huge impact player. Maybe never a bigger impact than when he scores that isolation goal.
It's in New York State.
New York State. There you go.
Pauling, New York.
Oh, that makes sense. That's
hence
right.
the Trinity Pauling.
That's right. I knew that. Actually, I believe Adam Peroni, I think, went there. Or no, Dalton Lundy may have gone there.
Yes,
So I
Dalton
saw
Lundy.
Yeah,
Dalton and
his
Brendan
sister
Lundy.
Sam was at a game.
Julian
in,
Garantano went there. All the way back, Brandon Turner, he went there as well, too.
Oh, Tunes.
Tunesy, yeah, the big tuna.
Max Murdoch on his knees scores! We talked yesterday about Nick Karam's shot from his knees that was not a good idea, but Max Murdoch maintains his upright position. What a shot by Murdoch to bring McGill within 2. And, boy, if you were betting on this game right now, you wouldn't want to be the guy who put all his money on Western when they were up 10-4.
Oh, no. Unbelievable. Max Murdoch, I said it already. He's having himself a unbelievable game. He's
Game of his life.
Game of his life that is for sure. Stepping up to the occasion, but
Is that 4 today or 5?
That's 4.
That's 4 goals for Max Murdoch. He had 14 in the regular season. I mean, that's a good number. And then McGill gets possession. You talked about how lively they get on the bench when they're on a run. They were so stoked that they just won possession on that faceoff. It was scooped up by Brendan Mullen.
Murdoch, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points.
And the assist was gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
What a
That's the
play.
thing. He's scoring, he's making plays, but they're highlight reel plays right now. He is a big-time game player.
Oh, nice strip by Keegan Crowley. Then avoids the forecheck pressure. Max Murdoch trying to strip him, hoping to do what we saw Brandon Slade do earlier, which is play so well both ways. And he is contributing, but Western gets the ball up into the offensive zone, and Reed Reinhold slowing things down. Here comes a backdoor cut, and it gets away from Jackson Hulbert. And suddenly, McGill's going again with a chance to come within 1. Connor Plant can't get too excited here. You got to stay smart. And they do. Pass bounces away, but recovering just before Moriyama can get there was Patrick Brandell. Goes back to Plant. He'll just hand it off, and Ian McLeod will start things. I think I might have actually called Alex Linton McLeod earlier in the half. Haven't seen a whole lot of Linton in this second half, really. Zawada to McLeod. Behind the net, Callahan. That pass is knocked down. Crowley getting his stick on it, but it does wind up in the stick of Zawada.
It's a great play by Brandell to take the hit, but pick up the loose ball and get it to your player.
Yeah, exactly. Sacrifice the body for your team. McGill with momentum. And they're within one. Dropping down sidearm is Kieran McKay. And he blasts it home. And you know, sometimes you see something like that, the bench gets all fired up and your coach is like saying, no, calm down, calm down. Tim Murdoch is stoking the fires. He likes this enthusiasm his team has. They're within one. It's 12-11. All the momentum on their side, 8:40 to go.
Well, I mean, you look at the two benches right now. You see McGill going absolutely bananas and Western on the other side just kind of wondering what is going on right now. But I don't think there's a lot of panic in this Western team. They're calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
They're not hitting the panic button just
Look
yet.
at the pressure by Bolsterly and Baldwin, though. And there's Jeremy Talevi smartly calling the timeout as Haber had the ball but was in all kinds of trouble. He may have just gotten away and clear as the timeout was called, but it was not looking good with those two great defenders, Baldwin and Bolsterly, on him. And McGill is fired up, and Western, from body language, you can hear him saying, let's go, let's go. And sometimes when you hear that, you think, oh, yeah, okay, they're into it, they're going. But sometimes there's a hint of trying to convince yourselves, and you can hear that in Western.
It's the old Will Ferrell. We got to keep our composure.
Settle down, guys.
Yeah. But what a different McGill team we've seen in this second half. They've made the adjustments, but it really wasn't that. They continued to play the same style of offense that they did. It's just, Max Murdoch puts the team on his back for a little bit. You get other players that, weren't getting the reps that you normally would. So what Tim Murdoch and his staff did was try different things. Continue to run the same offense that was working in previous games, but just try different players. And then that sparked other players like Goose Bolton to wake up as well.
8:19 to play. The winner off to the Baggataway Cup Championship at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have that live for you here on Studio Q on the Kufla Facebook page.
Can't stress enough as well as how much better the McGill defense has played in the second half.
My goodness. They weren't looking like themselves in the first half. They are back to it.
And that's the thing. They were in tight, letting those outside shots, weren't challenging the shooters. Sometimes it's hard because you see someone so far out.
Oh, Pelliccioni tried to go and grab that, almost got himself in trouble with Reed Reinhold. That's going to roll out off of the stick of a Western player, and McGill has the ball once again. Pelliccioni steps in, double team. He calmly looks to one side, tosses to the other to Bolsterly.
And that's that pressure McGill I was just talking about. They have to do a good job, and they have been doing in the second half. Make Western uncomfortable. Make them play uncomfortably because they were just having their way. They looked so calm, cool, and collected, but now in this second half, they do not look like themselves. Panicking, dropping balls, and credit to McGill and their defensive coordinator for changing up the plan there.
McLeod with it. Sorry, Kieran McKay. Now he gives it to McLeod. Ian McLeod, that is. He's got some space. He shoots. That one's knocked down and then picked up. Great play by Haber. But then the ball is thrown away, or at least not caught. Two McGill players both go after it. Either could have picked it up, but they knock each other's sticks out of the way, and Western gets it. Masterson with the pass ahead. They had Ward on the back door, but Baldwin was in perfect position. It's not all about big hits and stripping the ball. It's about being aware of where the opponents are, and that's a great play by Baldwin. Not sure if you even had a chance to see that on the screen because it was away from the play a bit, but Ward would have been wide open, but Baldwin just took the lane. Michael Byrne. This is Masterson behind the net. Up to Davis. Reinhold's at the top. Watched there by Plant. Spins and shoots. Holy cow, Reed Reinhold That is a dandy and a laser. And you can hear the excitement coming from some relief, I think, for the Western Mustangs.
That's what happens when you have a short stick defender on Reed Reinhold. He's going to use his speed and his athleticism, and that's exactly what he did on that goal. Pushes down hard on Connor Plant, creates separation with that spin around, and blasts home a beauty to extend this lead to 2 goals.
I don't think McGill's going to be phased, and they get the ball right off the faceoff. Brendan Mullen once again. Great game for him. He's being chased, but he's going to stay away from Michael Byrne. Oh, it gets stripped now. That's going to be a huge possession, depending who can get it. And it's McGill. Great effort by Cal Callahan to jump in there. I'm going to say Cal Callahan's whole name every time. Every time he touches the ball, because that's a cool name. Emil Sasson-Lawless. Watch there by Byrne. Now he switches off where Cozy takes him. Sasson-Lawless. Changes direction. There's a shot from Murdoch. Stop by Manny Najjar. Boy, that would have been big. Ball behind the net. Western with lots of time. No pressure at this point from the Redmen. Now Cal Callahan on him. Lob back to Crowley. Keegan Crowley will go for a run to the near side as we're looking at the field. Far side from where he was. He's got Najjar open now for the pass if he needs it as Murdoch applies a bit of pressure. They go up the field instead as Reinhold came way back to make himself available. The lob over to Davis. Western now definitely wants to use up some time. Under 4 minutes to play. I'm sure they wouldn't mind another goal, though. Stall warning is on Western, so they're going to have to keep moving the ball. Ferris is back there on his own. He rolls it. It's going to be a race. Karasterici almost got there, but Reinhold gets great position and comes up with the ball. Boy, Reinhold has been an impact player for Western.
Western's bench screaming, "Shorty's behind the net. We want that. We want that."
Here comes Ward. Pelliccioni was out with some pressure, but great D again. There's Baldwin with the whack on Ward, getting on the hands. Haber down in the corner. Plant will go out and pressure him to get going. Less than 3 minutes to go. 13-11 Western. I'm Steven Stamp beside Pat Gregoire. This is the 2017 Baggataway Cup. Tomorrow's championship will be at 1 o'clock between Brock and the winner of this game. Right now looking like Western, but don't give up on McGill. Pelliccioni makes a play. It bounces off of Ferris, and McGill gets the ball. Here come the Redmen. They've got 2.5 minutes. The long pass. Oh, my goodness. That's too high for Karasteci, sorry. I've been throwing an extra syllable in. Sorry about that, Matt Karasteci. Actually, more of the Karasteci clan, if you're watching. You're the ones who'd be hearing it. Now Western. Crowley's not going to do anything till they force him. That's a long, high pass, but it is grabbed. Moriyama picks it up off the turf. Masterson immediately covered by Paul Rougeau. Karasteci takes him on. Masterson under pressure, lobs it ahead. Great communication and a nice pass to get it up to Byrne. They let him know where he was. Stall warning back on Western. 1:48 to go. Simeone. Watched by Hosking. Hosking went for the strip. Great job by Simeone to keep it to himself. He holds on to the ball still. Pelliccioni has to get back in the net. Here's a chance, a shot. Diving attempt, but that was not going to happen for Paul Rougeau. He just was too far behind to make up that ground. Western keeps the ball. They double team immediately. What a great cut by Thomas Masterson to give Simeone someone to pass to, as there was nobody near him. Almost a great strip by Kerstecki. Lots of pressure by McGill. 1:14 to go. 2-goal lead for the Mustangs. Perfect timing, and they get the ball back. Great play.
Great play, but not the smartest pass selection for Masterson.
That was David Pelliccioni, the goalie, who came out and made that check. Oh, and you got to move that ball. Oh, great job by Linton to be in position as Dekron Arshaguni was absolutely flattened, and that is a young player, Arshaguni, not a lot of experience, who got himself in trouble and didn't show the poise we saw from, say, Thomas Masterson earlier when he just needed to get that ball moved a little earlier. And once you miss the chance, it's a small window, and then it closes fast.
Yeah, we talked about that. It's a split second. You have to make that decision, and normally if you wait and think about it, it's probably too late. A little bit of controversy there. Western thinking that McGill wasn't over half before they called that timeout, but I think they were just over before they could call that.
Yeah, I think the ball had just gotten to Linton, Alex Linton, and it tends to be a little wishful thinking maybe on a close call like that. You're hoping the ball didn't get over center. And Pelliccioni was over at the bench talking to the coaches, and I was looking for him on the field. I was thinking for a second they were pulling the goalie, which is not really something you do. We're into the final minute. McGill needs to get a goal, then they need to get possession back. Linton has it. Up to Sasan Lawless. Look for Max Murdoch. He is off to the right. There he is cutting across. There's a cutter up top. Oh, the pass is knocked down by Austin Haber. What a play by Austin Haber. He's had a great game. Crowley throws the ball. It's picked up. Brendan Mullen gets there, but it pops away. There's Byrne coming up with it. Now Weston's going to... Oh, no, we've actually got Keegan Crowley is down on the field, looking very, very uncomfortable. He is rolling about. Did not see... That was well behind the play. I didn't see what happened.
Didn't quite see what happened there either. 18 seconds here, 2 goals. I think time is just going to run out on McGill, but you have to. Obviously, you're going to be disappointed if you're the Redmen because of the first half effort, and you got to think what happens if you gave maybe 3/4 of an effort instead of the 2 that we've seen in the second half. I mean, it's still not over yet, but...
Well, Western with the ball and 18.9 seconds left. And a 2-goal lead. It's close.
It's pretty much all but over.
Before we go, I just want to say thanks once again to Caitlin Kosas and her team here from Studio Q, making us feel so welcome, doing a great job. Tomorrow, we're going to have all kinds of stuff. We're going to have replays. We got the whole gang here, and we're going to be rocking it. And to our camera people who are right up on the front lines and facing the cold. It's chilly in here when we have the windows open. Reed Reinholt will go and start with the ball. The immediate double team. No surprise. It's Baldwin and Bolsterly hemming him in. There's room there. Is he going to try and run through and split the D, or is he just going to throw the pass? He'll just whip a shot at the net, actually. And it's Western ball as Austin Haber went down. Haber's going to pass it. Oh, a huge hit as Nick Ferris puts that ball in. Great play there by Haber.
Haber having himself an unbelievable tournament. He's doing just all the little things. It starts with recognizing that Reinhold's taking that shot at the net. So what does he do? He runs to the end line, picks up that loose ball, takes it to the net, and feeds an unbelievable pass over to Nick Ferris, who buries there. Haber, I mean, started his Kufla career as a strict stay-at-home D-midi, and he has evolved himself into a 5-tool lacrosse player.
McGill gets the ball, but it's going to be too late. Trail check there. And the clock will tick down on the McGill-Redmen season. The Western Mustangs are heading back to the Baggataway Cup Championship tomorrow at 1 o'clock against the Brock Badgers. But regardless of this final result, what a game effort and a courageous effort by these McGill-Redmen.
Yeah, they can't be hanging their heads. Obviously, they can be disappointed. There's only one team that's happy at the end of this tournament. And for the Redmen, they're not going to get to the Baggataway Cup Finals after having such a successful regular season. But the second half effort was unbelievable. You can only imagine what would have happened if they had that effort, not even for 4 quarters, even for 3.
Quarters, like you said.
Even for 3. I mean, it's unfortunate for them that they didn't pick it up until the second half, but we know McGill's going to be back next year, like you mentioned earlier.
28 underclassmen, 16 freshmen, 12 sophomores. So they have a ton of talent, a ton of heart, and they have a lot of guys playing roles in this game who are going to step into bigger roles. We talked about Emil Sasson-Lawless a few years ago when he was just kind of starting to get some playing time, coming in second halves, getting a shot here and there. That's what a lot of these guys are doing, and they are doing it very well. They're going to be excellent. But right now, the Western Mustangs have come out and given themselves a chance to repeat. We have a West against West championship game, Brock and Western. Emil Sasson-Lawless named the player of the game for McGill. We were all over Max Murdoch.
Number 4, Keegan Crowley.
And Keegan Crowley for Western. He had a pretty good game, but we were thinking Austin Haber.
Or Reed Reinhold.
Or Reed Reinhold.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know, man. They'll shake hands. Great game. Great day and great 2 days of lacrosse here at the Baggataway Cup. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, we're looking forward to it. It will be the Western Mustangs and the Brock Badgers. And maybe the most exciting thing is that we've officially confirmed that Pat Gregoire and I will be doing a Kufla all-name team sometime in the coming days. So watch out for both of those. Final thoughts, Patty Gregoire.
I mean, it's one of the best rivalries, in my personal opinion, in all of Kufla lacrosse. Western against Brock. They hate each other.
Yeah.
I know hate is a strong word, but those two teams do not like each other. And it's going to be the first time the two teams have met in the Baggataway Finals since all the way back in 1999. So these two teams don't like each other. They make it pretty clear every time they play each other, and it is going to be a doozy.
Well put, Pat Gregoire. I'm Stephen Stamp. For the whole crew here at Studio Q, thanks for being with us today. Be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, for the Baggataway Cup Championship.